The security alert pinged at 3:47 a.m. Movement detected in conference room 7B. Min-jun Park stood in his penthouse office reviewing Shanghai contracts when the notification lit up his phone. Someone was in the building. At this hour, that meant either a breach or something far more interesting. He pulled up the camera feed and stopped breathing. Zara Williams, his new forensic accountant, the woman who'd been working for his legitimate hotel enterprise for exactly 11 days. The woman who had no idea that Park Holdings was the cleanest face of Korea's most sophisticated criminal network. She was dancing, not the self-conscious shuffle of someone who thought they might be watched. Real dancing. Her body moved like water through the empty conference room. Natural black curls loose and wild around her shoulders, instead of the tight professional bun she wore during business hours. She'd shed her blazer. Her white blouse was untucked from pencil skirt that was absolutely not designed for the way her hips were moving. Min-jun enlarged the feed. She had earbuds in, eyes closed, completely lost in whatever music was feeding her movement. Her brown skin caught the ambient light from the city beyond the windows. She spun slowly, arms lifting, and he saw her face fully, not the careful mask she wore in meetings. This was unguarded, free, beautiful in a way that made his chest compress. He'd hired her 3 weeks ago based on credentials that were almost too good. MIT graduate, former senior analyst at Goldman Sachs, recommendations that bordered on worship. But there'd been a 2-year gap in her resume, 2 years where Zara Williams had apparently vanished from the financial world. His background check had found nothing illegal, just absence. That gap fascinated him almost as much as watching her dance. Min-jun had built his empire on reading people, understanding what they wanted, what they feared, what they'd sacrifice. Zara Williams had walked into her interview with perfect posture and dead eyes. She'd answered every technical question flawlessly, while radiating the kind of exhaustion that came from surviving something that should have destroyed you. He'd hired her immediately, not because Park Holdings needed another accountant, because something about her brokenness called to his own. Now watching her dance like she'd forgotten anyone might see, Min-jun felt want slam into him with physical force. Not just attraction, though that was there, fierce and immediate. Recognition. This woman hiding behind professional competence, making herself small and forgettable. She was running from something, and he wanted to know what. More than that, he wanted to see her dance like this while knowing she was being watched, wanted to see if that freedom could survive being seen. Min-jun closed the laptop, made a decision that would change both their lives. He took the private elevator down 7 floors. The building was silent except for ambient noise from the city outside. His footsteps were deliberately quiet as he approached conference room 7B. The door was closed but not locked. Amateur mistake. If you're going to break protocol, you lock the door. He opened it silently, stepped inside, let it close behind him with an audible click. Zara spun around so fast she nearly fell. Her earbuds clattered to the floor. Her eyes went wide with something between terror and shame. For 3 seconds, neither of them moved. "Mr. Park," her voice came out strangled. She was already reaching for her blazer, already rebuilding the professional armor. I finished the Singapore accounts and needed to clear my head. I didn't think anyone would—" "Don't." One word. Quiet. Absolute. She froze, blazer half on. "Don't apologize. Don't explain, don't hide." Min-jun moved closer, not threatening but deliberate. "I have a security system that alerts me to after-hours building access. I saw you dancing." Her face went carefully blank, the same expression she wore in meetings when someone challenged her analysis. "I understand if that's a termination issue. I was using company space for personal— Did I say I was firing you?" He stopped 3 feet away, close enough to see her pulse hammering in her throat. "I said I saw you dancing. That's not a criticism, Ms. Williams, it's an observation." "Then what is it?" Challenge crept into her voice. "Defense mechanism. Push back before you can be pushed." "Recognition." Min-jun held her gaze. "You spend every workday making yourself invisible. Head down, answers precise, no personality beyond competence. But just now, you were someone completely different. I want to know which version is real." Zara's laugh was sharp and humorless. "The version that keeps her job is real, Mr. Park. The other one was a mistake." "Was it?" He moved closer. 1 step. She didn't retreat. "Because from where I stood, that was the first honest thing I've seen from you since you started. Everything else is performance, says the man who runs a hotel empire from a penthouse office at 4 a.m. Her chin lifted. We all perform, Mr. Park. That's how we survive. Smart. Too smart. Minjun felt his interest sharpen into something dangerous. Survive what? The question hung between them. Zara's expression flickered. For just a moment he saw past the armor to something raw and wounded underneath. Then she locked it down. Corporate America, she said flatly. Same as everyone else. Lie. But an interesting one. Minjun let it stand. For now. I'm not firing you, he said. But I am changing your assignment. You're wasted in general accounting. I have a special project that requires someone with your specific talents. Someone who can find money that doesn't want to be found. Suspicion flashed across her face. What kind of money? The complicated kind. He pulled out his phone, sent her a file. Review this tonight. My office, 9 a.m. If you're interested, we'll discuss terms. If not, you can return to the Singapore accounts and pretend this conversation never happened. He turned to leave, paused at the door. Ms. Williams, next time you need to dance at 3 a.m., lock the door. Or don't. But make an intentional choice about who gets to see you. Minjun left before she could respond. In the elevator, he pulled up the security feed again, watched Zara stand frozen in the conference room, staring at her phone. The file he'd sent contained financial records from one of his shell companies. Not illegal, but complex enough to be interesting. A test. By the time he reached his office, his phone showed she'd opened the file, started analyzing. At 4:13 a.m., a message arrived. These accounts are deliberately obscured. Whoever structured this didn't want anyone tracking the money flow. Are you testing my skills or my ethics? Minjun smiled, typed back, both. 9 a.m. Don't be late. Her response was immediate. I won't. And Mr. Park, next time you watch someone through security feeds, maybe announce yourself before they have a heart attack. He laughed. Actually laughed. For the first time in months. Zara Williams was going to be either his greatest asset or his most beautiful mistake. Possibly both. At 8:47 a.m., Minjun's assistant buzzed. Ms. Williams is here, 13 minutes early. Send her in. Zara entered his office wearing armor. Navy suit, hair scraped back, expression neutral. But her eyes were alive in a way they hadn't been before. Alert, assessing. She'd seen the complexity in those accounts and understood what it meant. Sit. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. She sat, placed a tablet between them. I analyzed the file you sent. 3 shell companies, offshore accounts in Cayman and Singapore, money moving through structures designed to obscure origin and destination. Technically legal, but functionally money laundering. Except you're not laundering dirty money, you're hiding clean money from someone. Question is why? Minjun leaned back. And what did you conclude? That you're either running from taxes, hiding assets from litigation, or operating in spaces where legitimate business and illegitimate business overlap? She met his eyes directly. Given your family's reputation, I'm guessing the third option. There it was. She'd done research, knew exactly what Park Holdings really was underneath the hotel empire. My family's reputation, he repeated softly. Meaning? Meaning your father built this company on both sides of the law. Meaning the legitimate hotels and real estate are profitable, but the real money comes from providing financial services to people who can't use traditional banking. Meaning you've spent 10 years cleaning up his legacy while maintaining the profitable parts. She paused. I'm not judging. I'm clarifying what I'm walking into. Minjun studied her. You researched my family history, but took this meeting anyway. Why? Because I spent 2 years doing work I hated for people who didn't deserve my skills. Because the traditional system broke me, and I'm done pretending it serves justice. Zara's voice was steady. You sent me those accounts as a test. Fine, I passed. Now tell me what you actually want. I want someone who can trace money through impossible structures, someone brilliant enough to understand complex financial crimes and brave enough to operate in gray zones. He paused. I want you. For what specifically? Asset recovery, Minjun said. We have clients who've been stolen from, ex-spouses hiding marital assets, business partners committing fraud, wealthy families cutting out legitimate heirs. The legal system moves too slowly, or not at all. We move faster. Zara processed this. You're describing vigilante accounting. I'm describing pragmatic justice. The clients who come to us have exhausted legal options. We find what traditional investigators miss. We apply pressure that makes people return what they stole. We don't hurt anyone physically, but we hurt them financially, thoroughly. And when you say we, you mean you, analyzing accounts, building cases, me, applying pressure, negotiating returns. Minjun stood, moved to the window overlooking Seoul's financial district. I handle the illegal parts. You stay clean. Plausible deniability. That's not how complicity works, Mr. Park. No, he agreed, but it's how I protect my people. You do the technical work, I take the risk. Zara was quiet for a long moment. What's the pay? Triple what you make now, plus percentage of recovery on successful cases. And if I say no? Then you return to general accounting. No retaliation, but you'll spend the rest of your career wondering what you're actually capable of. She stood, walked to stand beside him at the window. You watched me dance for 90 seconds and decided I was the right person for financial crimes work. That's either brilliant intuition or terrible judgment. It's recognition, Minjun said. You weren't dancing like someone who plays it safe. You were dancing like someone who's tired of hiding. I need that person, the one who stopped caring about rules that don't serve justice. You don't know anything about me. I know you have a 2-year gap in your resume. I know you're overqualified for the position I hired you for. I know you work 80-hour weeks like you're running from something. He turned to face her. I know you're brilliant and angry and tired of being invisible. That's enough. Zara met his eyes. If I do this, I need guarantees, legal protection, documentation that I'm consulting, not participating in anything criminal. Done. And I need to know what happened during those 2 years before you trust me with anything sensitive. Minjun had expected this. Fair, but it's not a conversation for the office. Dinner, tonight, neutral location. You ask your questions, I'll answer honestly. That sounds like a date, Mr. Park. It's a negotiation, Ms. Williams. What happens after is up to you. She smiled. First real smile he'd seen from her. 7 p.m. You pick the location. Somewhere quiet. After she left, Minjun's phone rang. His brother, Tae-young. I heard you're recruiting Zara Williams for special projects, Tae-young said without preamble. That's a mistake. Why? Because she's a risk. That gap in her resume? She was the star witness in a federal case, testified against her mentor at a hedge fund, sent him to prison for securities fraud. Every firm in New York blacklisted her for it. She's a whistleblower, Minjun. She chose ethics over career. Minjun absorbed this. And you think that makes her a risk to us? I think it makes her unpredictable. She burned her entire career to do the right thing once. What happens when she decides we're the wrong thing? Then we'll handle it. But that moral compass is exactly why I want her. She's not corruptible. That makes her valuable. Or dangerous. Sometimes they're the same thing. That evening, Minjun chose a private dining room at a restaurant he owned. Traditional Korean food, intimate space, no chance of being overheard. Zara arrived exactly on time wearing civilian clothes. Black jeans, emerald silk blouse, leather jacket. Her hair was down again, curls framing her face. She looked younger, less guarded. No suit, he observed. You said neutral location. I interpreted that as off-duty. She slid into the seat across from him. Also, I figured if we're negotiating my participation in financial gray zones, I should probably look like someone who doesn't care about corporate dress codes. Fair assessment, they ordered. The first few minutes were deliberately casual. Food arrived, wine poured. Then Zara set down her chopsticks and said, Tell me what happened 2 years ago. How you found out about my testimony. Minjun had prepared for this. Background check pulled news articles, federal case, United States versus Marcus Chen. Your testimony was the prosecution's key evidence. You built a case that sent your mentor to prison for 12 years. And you hired me anyway. I hired you because of it. You chose truth over self-preservation. That's rare. Zara's expression hardened. I chose truth and lost everything. My career, my reputation, every professional relationship I'd built. The industry blacklisted me for being a snitch. 2 years of unemployment, freelance gigs that barely paid rent, watching my expertise become worthless because I had the audacity to report a crime. The system punished you for doing the right thing. The system punished me for not protecting powerful men. Her voice was sharp with old anger. Marcus Chen stole from his clients. Elderly people, pension funds, people who trusted him. I found the evidence and reported it like I was supposed to, and everyone in finance decided I was the problem, not him. Min-jun listened. Let her talk. So yes, Mr. Park, I have a 2-year gap, because I chose ethics over pragmatism and paid for it. Now you're offering me work that exists in spaces ethics don't reach. The irony isn't lost on me. It's not ironic, Min-jun said quietly. It's logical. You learned the system doesn't reward integrity. Now you can choose to help people the system failed. Different approach, same goal. Rationalizing crime doesn't make it moral. No. But refusing to help people because it's illegal doesn't make you moral either. It makes you complicit in their suffering. Zara stared at him. You're good at this. Reframing choices to make gray zones look like high ground. I'm honest about what I do. That's more than most people in my position. He refilled her wine. The work I'm offering helps people who have nowhere else to turn. We operate outside legal boundaries because legal boundaries protect the powerful. You know that better than anyone. She was quiet for a long time. Then, first case. I'll consult on one case. If I'm comfortable with the work, we negotiate long term. If not, I walk. Agreed. And Mr. Park, if I discover you're doing anything that actually harms innocent people, I'm out immediately. I didn't destroy my career reporting crime just to become a criminal myself. Understood. Min-jun extended his hand across the table. One case, full transparency. She shook it. Her grip was firm, her hand warm. The contact lasted 3 seconds longer than professional. Neither of them pulled away immediately. The first case arrived the next morning. A Korean woman, Ms. Cho, late 60s, recently widowed. Her husband had owned a successful restaurant chain. According to his will, she inherited everything. According to his business partner, the restaurants had massive debt. Ms. Cho would inherit nothing but liability. The partner is lying, Ms. Cho said through tears. My husband kept records. The restaurants made profit. But I cannot prove it. The accountant says the books show debt. Zara reviewed the financial statements the partner had provided, studied them with the same intensity Min-jun had seen when she analyzed his shell companies. After 2 hours, she looked up. He's lying. The debt is fabricated. Look here. She pointed to specific entries. These loan payments to a company that doesn't exist. And here, inventory purchases from a supplier with no business registration. The debt is fake, designed to justify paying the widow nothing. Can you prove it? Min-jun asked. I can document the fraud, but it'll take accessing accounts I'm not authorized to see. Then we access them. Zara hesitated. This was the line. Cross it or walk away. How bad do you want to help her? Min-jun asked softly. She deserves her husband's legacy. The partner is stealing from a widow. Then help me help her. Zara made her choice. I'll need the partner's personal banking records and access to the restaurant company accounts. Done. It took Zara 3 days of intensive work. Min-jun provided the access through methods she didn't ask about. She built a comprehensive case. The business partner had been siphoning money for years through fake vendors and phantom debt. The restaurants were profitable. The widow was owed $3 million. When they presented the findings to the partner in a private meeting, Min-jun laid out 2 options. Transfer the money immediately or face criminal prosecution and civil suit. The money transferred within 24 hours. Ms. Cho cried when they told her, hugged Zara so tightly she couldn't breathe. Said blessings in Korean that Min-jun translated softly. Later in his office, Zara stood at the window staring at the city. We broke multiple laws to get those records. We did. If anyone investigated, we'd face serious charges. We would. But she got justice the legal system couldn't provide. She did. Min-jun moved to stand beside her. That's the choice, Zara. Pure hands or actual help. You can't always have both. She turned to face him. I need to know something. When you watched me dancing that night, what did you actually see? The question surprised him. Why does that matter? Because you made a decision about me, based on 90 seconds of observation. I need to know what you think you saw. Min-jun considered his answer carefully. I saw someone who'd spent years making herself invisible, finally letting herself exist. Someone brilliant and broken, pretending neither was true. Someone who could be extraordinary if they stopped hiding. That's a lot to get from watching someone dance. I'm good at reading people, it's how I survive. And what do you see now? Someone standing at a crossroads, legal career or effective work, safety or impact, playing by rules that failed you or breaking rules that help people. He paused. Someone who's tired of being numb. Zara's breath caught. Don't psychoanalyze me, Mr. Park. Then don't ask questions you're afraid to hear answered. He moved closer. You want to know what I see? I see someone powerful pretending to be powerless, someone brilliant hiding behind competence, someone who survived being punished for doing the right thing and is terrified it'll happen again. You don't know me. I know you took this case despite your reservations. I know you're still here despite having every reason to walk away. I know you felt something when Ms. Cho thanked you that you haven't felt in 2 years. His voice dropped. I know you're considering staying. Maybe I am. That doesn't mean I'm comfortable with it. Good. Comfort makes you complacent. I need you sharp, questioning, uncomfortable. That's what keeps us from becoming corrupt. Zara stared at him. You're either very wise or very good at manipulation. Both, Minjun said honestly. But I'm not manipulating you right now. I'm offering you a choice. Help people the system failed, or walk away and spend the rest of your career wondering what you could have done. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, 3 more cases. I'll consult on 3 more cases. If it still feels right, we negotiate permanent terms. Agreed. And Mr. Park, stop watching me through security feeds. If you want to see me, ask directly. He smiled. Understood. No more surveillance. Unless I'm committing crimes for you. That's different. That's operational security. Zara laughed. Actually laughed. The sound transformed her face. You're impossible. I'm pragmatic. There's a difference. She left his office and Minjun allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Zara Williams was staying. She'd crossed her first ethical line. Everything else would be easier. His phone buzzed. Tae Young again. She took the case. She did. You're playing a dangerous game, brother. She's not one of us. She has a conscience. That's why I want her. Conscience keeps us honest. Or it makes her a liability when she decides we've gone too far. Then I'll handle it. But I don't think that's going to happen. Why not? Because she's not looking for perfection anymore. She's looking for purpose. I'm giving her that. And if you're wrong, then I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. He hung up, pulled up the security feed one last time, watched Zara return to her office, sit at her desk, and stare at her screen with an expression he recognized. She was processing, adjusting, accepting that she'd chosen to operate in gray zones. Minjun smiled. She was exactly where he needed her to be, committed but questioning, skilled but conscious of cost. Perfect. Bloco 3. The second case was messier. A young gay couple, Jin and Michael, trying to recover money stolen by Michael's family after they cut him off for coming out. They'd liquidated a trust fund that was legally Michael's, hidden the assets offshore, and dared him to sue. They know I can't afford litigation, Michael said, voice breaking. We're living in a studio apartment. I'm working 3 jobs. They took everything and I have no recourse. Zara listened with the same careful attention she gave all their clients. Then she reviewed the trust documents and went very still. This is complicated, she said, after 2 hours of analysis. The trust was restructured 6 months ago. New trustee, new offshore accounts. Everything moved to jurisdictions with strong privacy laws. Finding the money will require accessing sealed accounts. Can you do it? Minjun asked. Technically. Yes, legally, absolutely not. Then we do it anyway. Zara looked at him. This is different from the widow case. We're talking about sophisticated offshore structures. If we're caught accessing these accounts, it's not just trespassing. It's international financial crimes. Aware of that, question is whether you're willing to take the risk to help them. She looked at Jin and Michael, holding hands on the couch in Minjun's office. Young in love, systematically destroyed by family who valued tradition over human dignity. How much did they steal? Zara asked Michael. The trust was worth $850,000. I was supposed to get access when I turned 25. Instead, they emptied it. Zara's expression hardened. I'll need 3 days. And Minjun, I need better access than last time. These accounts are in Switzerland and Cayman. Your usual methods won't work. I have unusual methods. I don't want to know what that means. Good, plausible deniability. For 3 days, Zara disappeared into the work. Minjun provided access through channels she deliberately didn't question. She worked 16-hour days, surviving on coffee and determination. He brought her food, stayed late, answered questions that sharpened her analysis. On the third night at 2 a.m. she cracked it. "Found them," she said, voice hoarse from exhaustion. 4 accounts across 3 countries, total value $847,000. The family moved it the day after Michael came out. They'd been planning this. Minjun reviewed her documentation. "This is remarkable work. This is a federal crime, what we just did." "Yes, but now Michael gets justice." The confrontation happened in a lawyer's office. Michael's family, represented by expensive counsel, confident in their legal position. Minjun and Zara with documentation that shouldn't exist. "You have 72 hours to return the money," Minjun said calmly, sliding the file across the conference table. "All of it, with interest, or I release this documentation to media outlets who would love a story about a wealthy family stealing from their gay son." Michael's father went pale. His lawyer reviewed the documents and went paler. "This information was obtained illegally. It's inadmissible." "In court, yes," Minjun agreed. "But I'm not threatening legal action. So I'm threatening public exposure. Your client's reputation versus $850,000. Their choice." The money transferred within 48 hours. Jin and Michael came back to thank them. Michael was crying. Jin just kept saying thank you in English and Korean, alternating. After they left, Zara stood in the conference room staring at her reflection in the windows. "We committed multiple international crimes to get that money." "We did. Any number of agencies could investigate us." "They could. But those kids got their life back." "They did." Minjun moved to stand beside her. "Still uncomfortable?" "Terrified," Zara said honestly. "But also, I haven't felt this useful in 2 years. When I testified against Marcus, I thought I was doing the right thing. The system rewarded him and punished me. Now I'm breaking the rules and actually helping people. It's backwards. It's pragmatic. The system isn't designed for justice. It's designed for order. Sometimes those aren't the same thing." She turned to face him. "You keep reframing crime as pragmatism. I keep telling you the truth. We operate outside legal boundaries because legal boundaries fail vulnerable people. You proved that with your testimony. The system didn't protect you for doing the right thing. So your solution is to become a criminal with good intentions? My solution is to be useful instead of pure. You can choose moral superiority or actual impact, not both." Zara stared at him. "Has anyone ever told you you're incredibly good at making illegal activity sound noble?" "Frequently. Usually right before they agree to work for me." She laughed despite herself. "I should walk away. Everything about this is wrong." "But you won't." "Why are you so sure?" "Because you already made your choice when you watched Ms. Cho cry with relief. When you saw Jin and Michael get their future back. You're not staying because I'm persuasive. You're staying because this work matters to you." He was right and she hated it. Zara had spent 2 years unemployed, bitter, convinced the system was broken, but too afraid to operate outside it. Now she was crossing lines she'd once defended and feeling more alive than she had in years. 3 cases, she said. "That was the agreement. I've done 2. 1 more. Then we negotiate permanent terms. And if the 3rd case crosses a line I can't come back from, then you walk away. No judgment, no retaliation." Minjun paused. "But I don't think that's going to happen." The 3rd case arrived a week later. A woman named Sarah Chen, American-born Chinese, desperately trying to recover money from her ex-husband's cryptocurrency investments. He'd convinced her to invest their savings in various crypto schemes, made millions, then divorced her, and claimed the gains were his separate property. "The lawyer says because the investments were in his name, I have no claim," Sarah said, exhausted. "But it was our money. I worked 2 jobs while he traded crypto. Now he's a millionaire and I'm broke." Zara reviewed the divorce documents and felt rage building. The settlement was garbage. Sarah got almost nothing because the court couldn't trace cryptocurrency assets effectively. "This is theft," Zara said. "Legal theft, but theft." "Can we recover it?" Minjun asked. "If I can trace his wallet addresses, yes. But crypto is designed to be anonymous. This won't be easy. I don't hire you for easy cases." Zara spent 2 weeks tracking blockchain transactions. The work was technically brilliant and completely illegal. She used tools that shouldn't exist, accessed exchanges without authorization, followed digital breadcrumbs through mixing services and privacy coins. Min-jun watched her work with fascination. She was extraordinary when focused. Every question sharp, every analysis precise. He brought her food, kept her caffeinated, provided whatever resources she needed. Late one night, she looked up from her screen with wild eyes. I found it, all of it. 7 million across 15 wallets. He's been moving it constantly, trying to obscure the trail, but I tracked every transaction from the original investment. Can we prove it came from marital assets? I can prove it, yes. Can I prove it in a way that's admissible in court? No. We hacked multiple exchanges to get this data. Then we don't go to court. We go directly to him. The confrontation was brutal. Sarah's ex-husband, Connor, sat in Min-jun's office, cocky and dismissive, until Zara laid out every wallet address, every transaction, every attempt to hide assets. You're going to transfer $35 million to Sarah within 48 hours, Min-jun said calmly. Half of everything you made with her money. Or I send this documentation to the IRS, the SEC, and several news outlets who would love a story about crypto fraud. Connor's confidence evaporated. This information was obtained illegally. Yes, but tax evasion and fraud aren't less illegal just because we broke rules to find them. Transfer the money or face consequences, your choice. The money transferred. Sarah wept with relief, hugged Zara, and thanked her in Mandarin English tears. That night, Zara came to Min-jun's office at midnight. He was working late, reviewing contracts for a hotel acquisition in Busan. She stood in the doorway, still wearing the clothes from the confrontation. I need to talk. Come in. She entered, closed the door behind her, stood in front of his desk with her arms crossed. I've done 3 cases, committed multiple felonies, crossed every ethical line I swore I'd never cross, and I'm not sorry. Min-jun set down his pen. What are you? Alive, useful, actually making a difference. She paused, and terrified of who I'm becoming. You're becoming effective. I'm becoming a criminal. You're becoming someone who prioritizes impact over image. That's not the same thing. Zara laughed, but it sounded broken. You make it sound so simple. Break a few laws, help a few people. Everything's justified. I'm not saying it's simple. I'm saying it's necessary. Min-jun stood, moved around the desk. The system failed you, Zara. It punished you for doing the right thing. Now you're helping people. The system fails every day. If that makes you a criminal, then we're criminals who actually give a damn. That's rationalization. That's honesty. We operate in gray zones because that's where vulnerable people exist. We could refuse, stay pure, watch people suffer, while congratulating ourselves on our integrity. Or we can help them and accept the moral complexity. She stared at him. I testified against my mentor because I believed rules mattered. Now I'm breaking rules constantly. What does that say about me? That you've learned rules and justice aren't always aligned. That's wisdom, not corruption. Or it's how corruption starts, justifying crimes with noble intentions. Maybe, Min-jun agreed. That's why you're here. Your conscience keeps us from sliding too far. You question every case, every method, every choice. That discomfort is valuable. The day you're completely comfortable is the day we've gone too far. Zara processed this. I want to stay, permanently. Not 3 more cases or provisional terms. I want to be your partner in this work. Then you are. Equal partnership. You analyze, I execute. We help people together. And when I say something crosses a line, then we don't do it. Your ethical boundaries are what keep this work from becoming what you condemned. She nodded slowly. There's something else. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you watching me dance that night, the way you looked at me in that conference room, the way you've looked at me for 3 weeks. The air in the office changed, became charged. And, Min-jun's voice was carefully neutral, and I think we both know this isn't just professional anymore. The late nights working together, the way we read each other during cases, the awareness between us. I'm not imagining it. No, you're not. So what do we do about it? Min-jun moved closer. Not touching, but near enough that she'd have to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. That depends on what you want. I want to know if you saw me, or if you saw an asset when you watched me dance. The question was vulnerable and brave. Min-jun answered honestly. I saw someone extraordinary pretending not to be. Someone brilliant and broken and beautiful. I wanted to know you completely. That hasn't changed. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. I saw you, Zara, all of you. And I've wanted you since that moment. Her breath caught. We work together, that's complicated. Everything about us is complicated. This doesn't make it more so. It absolutely does. Then we establish boundaries. Professional at work, personal in private. We're both adults. We can separate the two. Can we? She challenged. Because I don't think either of us does anything halfway. Minjun smiled. No, we don't. So if this happens, it happens completely. No half measures, no pretending it's casual, honest and intense or not at all. Zara stared at him for a long moment. Then she closed the distance between them and kissed him. The kiss was fierce, hungry. 3 weeks of tension released in a single point of contact. Minjun's hands went to her waist, pulling her closer. She made a sound against his mouth that shot straight through him. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Zara said, "This is a terrible idea." "Completely terrible," he agreed, and kissed her again, this time slower, deeper. His hands slid up her back, into her hair. She pressed against him, fingers gripping his shirt. The kiss turned searching, learning each other's rhythms. "Your office?" Zara murmured against his mouth. "Anyone could. Private floor, locked elevator. No one's here but us." "Good." She pushed him back toward his desk. They shared professional boundaries with their clothes. His suit jacket, her blouse, barriers removed, until there was just skin and want and honesty. He lifted her onto his desk, documents scattering. She laughed, and he swallowed the sound with another kiss. "Tell me if this is too fast," he said against her throat. "It's not fast enough." Her hands worked at his belt. "I've been thinking about this for weeks, since I watched you dance. Since you looked at me in that conference room like I was the most interesting thing you'd ever seen." Minjun pulled back to meet her eyes. "You are. Brilliance, courage, moral complexity. Everything about you is fascinating. Stop talking and touch me." He did. Mapped her body with deliberate attention, learning what made her gasp, what made her arch into his hands. She was responsive and demanding, refusing to be passive. When they finally came together, it was intense and consuming. After, collapsed on his office couch because the desk was uncomfortable, Zara started laughing. "What?" Minjun asked. "I just had sex with my boss in his office after spending 3 weeks committing financial crimes together. I've officially lost all moral high ground." "You never had moral high ground, you had moral complexity. Much more interesting." She turned to look at him. "I need you to understand something. I'm staying for the work. This," she gestured between them, "isn't why I'm staying. I know. That's why this works. You're here because the work matters. Everything else is separate." "Is it? Can we actually separate professional partnership and this?" "We'll have to. I won't let wanting you compromise your judgment about cases. And you won't let wanting me compromise your ethics. That's the deal." Zara considered this. "At work, we're partners. Professional equals. In private, we're... what? Honest. Whatever we are, we're honest about it." "That's not an answer. Because I don't have a simple answer. I want you intensely. I respect you professionally. I need you ethically. All of those things are true simultaneously." He paused. "What do you want this to be?" "I don't know, but I know I don't want to hide it or pretend it's casual." She sat up, pulled on her blouse. "We're either all in, or we stop now. Then we're all in." They established rules. At work, complete professionalism. No touches, no references to their personal involvement. Total separation. In private, complete honesty. No pretending, no games, whatever they felt. They said it. The arrangement worked for 3 months. During the day, they were perfect partners. She analyzed cases with brilliant precision. He applied pressure that made people return stolen assets. They helped clients traditional systems failed. At night, they fell into each other with intensity that should have alarmed both of them. Minjun learned her body, her mind, her patterns. The way she laughed when a financial structure revealed itself. The way she went quiet before finding a crucial connection. The panic attacks that still came sometimes, triggered by stress or memories of her testimony. The first time it happened, they were reviewing a case late at night. Zara suddenly stood, breathing hard, hands shaking. I can't." Minjun recognized it immediately. He'd seen panic attacks before, dealt with them in himself after his father's death. He guided her to the couch, sat beside her. "Breathe with me," he said quietly. "In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. She tried, failed, The panic was too strong. Look at me. He took her hands, placed them on his chest. Feel my heartbeat. Breathe with it. Slowly, she matched his rhythm. The panic receded. When she could speak again, she said, "I'm sorry. I thought I was past this. Trauma doesn't work on schedules, and you don't apologize for being human. This is professional weakness. I can't afford to fall apart. This is being a person who survived something that would break most people. There's no weakness in it." He kept her hands on his chest. When did the panic attack start? During the trial, testifying against Marcus, explaining how he'd stolen from clients, watching his family cry, knowing I'd destroyed his life even though he deserved it. She paused. They got worse after. When I couldn't find work, when everyone treated me like a traitor, I spent 2 years having panic attacks in my apartment, wondering if I'd made a catastrophic mistake. You didn't. You did the right thing. The right thing destroyed my career. The right thing exposed how broken the system is. That's not on you. She looked at him. How do you not have panic attacks? Your father was murdered during a business meeting. You were 19. How did you survive that? Badly, for a long time. Then I decided his death could either destroy me or teach me. I chose teaching. Built something different from what he built. Tried to use his legacy for something better. Do you think we're doing something better? Or are we just criminals with good PR? I think we're people operating in impossible spaces, trying to help. That's the best we can do. Zara leaned against him. I'm falling in love with you. I didn't plan on it, but I am. The confession surprised him. When did that happen? Probably that first case, watching you handle Ms. Cho with genuine compassion. Definitely when you held me through a panic attack without treating me like I was broken. Completely by the time you told me I was extraordinary. Minjun pulled her closer. I'm in love with you too. Have been since I watched you dance. But I fell harder watching you work. Your mind is as compelling as your body. Everything about you fascinates me. That's intense. Yes. Is that a problem? Probably, but I don't care. She kissed him. We're building something complicated. Partnership and passion and moral ambiguity all tangled together. Good. Simple is boring. They made love on his office couch, slow and reverent, both of them acknowledging what they'd admitted. After, Zara said, if we're doing this, really doing this, I need to know your limits. What you won't do. I won't hurt innocent people. I won't work for clients who are actually criminals. I won't let money justify harm. He paused. And I won't let anything compromise your safety. That's my line. You're protected, always. What if I do something that puts us both at risk? Then we handle it together. Partnership means we face consequences together. 6 months after Zara joined permanently, they took a case that tested everything. A trafficking victim, escaped and desperate, trying to recover money her captor had stolen. The money was in North Korea, moved through channels that made recovery nearly impossible. This is different, Zara said, reviewing what little documentation existed. We're talking about accessing accounts in a hostile nation. If we're caught, it's not just financial crimes. It's international incident. I'm aware. Question is whether you're willing to try. She was trafficked. He destroyed her life. She deserves that money. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. Zara met his eyes. We help her, whatever it takes. The work took 2 months. Zara used every tool she had, accessed systems she shouldn't be able to reach, traced money through impossible networks. Minjun provided resources through connections that operated in shadows darker than anything they'd touched before. When they finally recovered the money, $340,000, their client cried, said she could rebuild her life, could afford therapy, could stop being afraid. That night, Zara came apart in Minjun's arms, not from panic, from release. We did something impossible today. You did something impossible. I just provided access. We did it together. That's what partnership means. They made love like celebration and promise combined. After, lying in his bed with Soul's light spreading below them, Zara said, I'm not who I was 3 years ago. I've crossed lines I can never uncross. Is that regret? No. It's recognition. I testified against Marcus because I believed rules mattered. Now I break rules constantly because I've learned justice matters more. I'm not sure I recognize myself. I recognize you. You're someone who chose impact over purity, someone brave enough to operate in gray zones to help people, someone I love completely. Even the parts that committed multiple felonies? Especially those parts. They're what make you effective. Zara laughed. You're either the best thing that ever happened to me or the worst. I haven't decided. Both. Definitely both. A year after their partnership began, they'd helped 43 clients recover over $23 million in stolen assets, built a reputation for getting results traditional investigators couldn't achieve, operated in spaces between legal and illegal with increasing sophistication. They also built something else, a relationship that existed in the same gray zones as their work. Intense, complicated, honest. They challenged each other professionally, supported each other emotionally, knew each other completely. I never thought I'd be here, Zara said one night, lying in his arms, dating my boss, committing crimes for noble reasons, actually happy. Neither did I. I thought I'd inherited my father's empire and spend my life managing it. Then you started dancing in my conference room. That was an accident. That was fate. You don't believe in fate. I believe in you. Same thing. But shadows were building. One of their cases had attracted attention. A journalist investigating alternative asset recovery methods, an inquiry from a financial regulator. Small things, but concerning. We should be more careful, Zara said, reviewing the journalist's questions. One investigation could destroy everything we've built. We've always known this work exists on a knife's edge. We accept the risk, or we stop. I'm not suggesting we stop. I'm suggesting we acknowledge the risk is increasing. Acknowledged. Does that change anything? Zara considered. No. We keep helping people. We keep being careful. We keep operating in spaces no one else will touch. Then we're agreed. They were lying in bed when the call came. Tae-young Min-jun's brother. His voice was tight with concern. We have a problem. Federal investigators are asking questions about shell companies connected to Park Holdings. Someone tipped them off. Min-jun's entire body went still. When? Last week. They've requested documents, corporate registrations, account statements. If they dig deep enough, they'll find connections to cases you and Zara have worked. After he hung up, Zara was watching him with alert eyes. What happened? Federal investigation. Someone reported us. How bad? Unknown. But if they connect our shell companies to client cases, if they prove we accessed accounts illegally, he didn't finish. Didn't need to. Zara processed this. Do we run? Shut down? What's the play? We lawyer up. We create separation between legitimate business and consulting work. We protect you first. No. Her response was immediate. We protect us. I'm not letting you take the fall for work we did together. Zara, partnership means we face this together. Whatever comes, we handle it as equals. Min-jun pulled her close. I won't let you go to prison for this, and I won't let you face it alone. So we find another option. They spent the next week building defenses, separating corporate entities, creating distance between their work and his family's empire, preparing for investigation that might never come. The stress showed. Zara had more panic attacks. Min-jun worked longer hours, trying to insulate her from consequences. They fought about protection, about risk, about whether their work was worth potential prison. I'm not regretting this, Zara said during their worst fight. I'm not regretting us or the work or any of it, but I'm terrified we're going to lose everything. Then we fight to keep it, together. The investigation ultimately fizzled. Whoever had reported them hadn't had enough evidence. The federal inquiry closed without charges. But the near miss changed things. We need to be more careful, Zara said. Build better separation. Protect ourselves. Agreed, but we don't stop. No, we don't stop. They adjusted their methods, created more distance between themselves and the illegal parts of their work, hired specialists to handle access, to maintain plausible deniability. The work continued, more carefully. 2 years after Zara started dancing in his conference room, Min-jun proposed. Not with a ring, but with a question late one night in his penthouse. Build a life with me. Full partnership, personal and professional. Everything we've created, we make official. Zara looked at him. You're asking me to marry you? I'm asking you to choose us, permanently. Not because it's safe or simple, but because it matters. We've committed multiple crimes together. We operate in legal gray zones. We're under constant threat of investigation, and you think marriage is a good idea. I think we've built something extraordinary in impossible spaces. I think we help people who have nowhere else to turn. I think we love each other completely. He paused. And I think making it official acknowledges what's already true. We're partners, in every way that matters. Zara was quiet for a long time. Then, yes. But not because you asked, because I choose this. I choose you, the work, the complexity, all of it. They married quietly. Small ceremony, immediate family only. Minjun's brother as best man. No publicity, no spectacle, just acknowledgement of what they'd built together. Their wedding night, Zara said, I testified against my mentor 3 years ago and destroyed my career. I thought my life was over. Then you watched me dance and offered me everything I'd lost. You earned it back yourself. I just provided opportunity. You provided more than that. Purpose, partnership, love. You made me feel alive again. You did the same for me. Before you, I was managing my father's empire, doing work that mattered but felt hollow. You gave it meaning. They made love as husband and wife, the intensity unchanged, but the commitment deeper. After lying tangled together, Minjun said, I need you to know something. Whatever happens, whatever investigations come, whatever consequences we face, I don't regret any of it. This work, this partnership, loving you, none of it. Neither do I. Even if it ends badly, even if we face charges someday, I'd choose this again. Every time. The 3rd year of their partnership brought expansion. They hired more specialists, took on bigger cases, helped clients internationally. Their reputation grew. So did scrutiny. We're too visible, Tae-young warned. The more successful you become, the more attention you attract. You need to scale back. We need to be more careful, Minjun corrected. Not less effective. They hired lawyers preemptively, built stronger corporate structures, created better separation between themselves and illegal activities. The work continued, more sophisticated. Zara became known in certain circles. The accountant who could find money anywhere. The woman who'd testified against her mentor and reinvented herself in gray zones. People sought her expertise, her willingness to operate outside traditional boundaries. I'm becoming what I condemned, she said one night. When I testified against Marcus, I believed people who broke rules were corrupt. Now I break rules constantly. The difference is, you break rules to help people, not to enrich yourself. That distinction matters. Does it? Legally, we're criminals. We've committed dozens of felonies. Legally, yes. Morally, we've helped hundreds of people get justice the system couldn't provide. I know which one matters more to me. Me too. That's what scares me. I've become comfortable with crime. You've become comfortable with complexity, not the same thing. 4 years in, a major case arrived. A whistleblower, like Zara had been, had exposed corruption at a pharmaceutical company. Been blacklisted, destroyed professionally. Was trying to recover money the company owed him. Zara took the case personally, saw herself in him, the courage to speak truth, the system's punishment, the desperate attempt to rebuild. The work was technically brilliant and completely illegal. She accessed sealed accounts, traced money through offshore structures, built documentation that proved systematic fraud. When they presented it to the pharmaceutical company, the threat was clear. Pay the whistleblower or face exposure. The company paid. The whistleblower cried, thanked Zara for understanding what he'd sacrificed. You saved me, he said. The system destroyed me for telling the truth. You gave me my life back. After he left, Zara broke down. Not from panic, from recognition. That was me. 3 years ago, destroyed for testifying, blacklisted for doing the right thing. We just helped me. Minjun held her. We help people like you every day. That's why this matters. I wish someone had helped me. When I testified, when I lost everything, I wish someone had operated in gray zones to give me justice. I'm helping you now. Different version, but same result. You're not invisible anymore, Zara. You're extraordinary, and everyone who works with you sees it. That night, their intimacy was different, tender and fierce together. Acknowledgement of everything they'd survived and built. After, Zara said, I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air. How long have you known? Minjun asked quietly. 3 weeks. I wasn't sure how to tell you. We operate in legal gray zones, face constant investigation risk, commit crimes regularly. Bringing a child into that felt complicated. Everything about us is complicated. This doesn't change anything. It changes everything. I can't take risks the same way if I'm responsible for a child. Then we adjust. Take fewer cases. Be more careful. Build better protection. He pulled her closer. We've built an empire in shadows. We can raise a child there too. That's not normal. Neither are we. Our child will have parents who chose integrity over safety, who help vulnerable people, who operate in impossible spaces. That's not normal, but it's honest. Zara laughed through tears. You're going to be a father who commits financial crimes for noble reasons. And you're going to be a mother who's brilliant and brave and teaches our child that rules and justice aren't always the same thing. This is insane. This is us. They had a daughter, named her Diana after Zara's grandmother, raised her in the brownstone that held their business, their life, their complicated empire. Diana grew up knowing her parents helped people, didn't understand the complexity until she was older, the grey zones they operated in, the constant risk of investigation. But she understood they made a difference. Mama helps people find stolen money, she told her kindergarten teacher. She's really good at it. Zara lived in fear of that conversation becoming an investigation, but nothing happened. They continued their work, more carefully now, protecting their daughter by creating distance between her and their activities. 5 years after they married, 6 years after Zara started dancing in that conference room, an article ran. Major financial magazine, investigative piece about alternative asset recovery. They were featured prominently. The Shadow Accountants, How Min Park and Zara Williams help clients. Traditional investigators can't. The piece was nuanced, acknowledged they operated in legal grey zones, included testimonials from clients who'd gotten justice nowhere else, questioned whether their methods were criminal or necessary. The response was immediate. 3 federal inquiries, 5 new client calls, 2 job offers from major firms, 1 death threat from someone they'd exposed. We're too visible, Zara said, reading the article for the 5th time. This will force investigation. Then we face it, together. We have Diana now. I won't let her grow up visiting us in prison. She won't. We've built protections, corporate structures, plausible deniability, lawyers who know how to handle this. The investigations came, federal prosecutors asking questions, financial regulators requesting documents, journalists digging for details. They handled it methodically, provided what they had to, deflected what they could, maintained separation between their legitimate business and their questionable methods. The investigations closed without charges. Not enough evidence, too much separation between them and the illegal access. Their protections had worked, but the stress had cost them. Zara had panic attacks weekly. Minjun worked obsessive hours building defenses, their relationship strained under the pressure. I can't do this anymore, Zara said one night. Not angry, just exhausted. Living under constant investigation threat, raising Diana in this uncertainty. I can't. What are you saying? I'm saying we need to change something. Scale back, stop taking cases, something. I can't keep operating on the edge. Minjun was quiet for a long time. Then, what if we don't take new cases? Just handle existing clients, provide consulting, operate more conservatively. You'd be willing to do that. I'm willing to do whatever keeps us together. You and Diana are more important than the work. They scaled back, took fewer cases, built distance, focused on legitimate consulting that skirted close to grey zones without crossing them. The work was less dramatic, but still meaningful. They still helped people traditional investigators couldn't. Still operated in spaces between legal and illegal, but more carefully, with more protection. 7 years after that first dance, Zara stood in their brownstone conference room reviewing a case with their team. 4 employees now, specialists in various aspects of asset recovery. Legitimate business with questionable methods. Minjun watched from the doorway. She'd changed from the broken woman who'd danced alone, thinking no one could see her. Confident now, authoritative, comfortable with her expertise, but still questioning, still uncomfortable with moral complexity. That discomfort kept them honest. What? She asked, catching him watching. Just appreciating you, all versions. The genius analyst, the devoted mother, the woman who still dances when she thinks no one's watching. I locked the door this time. Did you? He smiled. I'll have to check the security feeds. Don't you dare. We agreed no surveillance. Unless it's operational necessity. This is not operational. No, this is appreciation. He crossed to her, pulled her close despite their employees in the next room. Thank you. For what? For choosing this. The work, the risk, the complexity, for choosing me, for building something extraordinary in impossible spaces. Zara kissed him. Thank you for watching me dance, for seeing me when I was trying to be invisible, for making me feel alive again. They'd built an empire in shadows, raised a child there, created partnership that existed in grey zones. It wasn't safe or simple or legal by any conventional measure, but it was real, and it helped people, and it mattered. No regrets? Minjun asked. Zara looked around the conference room, at the case files that represented people they'd helped, at the team they'd built, at the life they'd created from one impulsive decision to dance when she thought no one was watching. None, she said. Not one single regret. That night, after Diana was asleep and their employees had gone home, Zara stood in the same conference room, put in her earbuds, started the same playlist from 7 years ago, and she danced, not hiding this time, knowing Minjun was watching from his office, knowing he saw every movement, every expression, knowing she was seen completely. She danced like she owned the world, like the complexity didn't scare her, like being visible was salvation instead of danger, because it was. He'd taught her that. Being seen completely, the brilliant parts, the broken parts, the parts that crossed ethical lines for noble reasons, wasn't dangerous. It was necessary. It was honest. It was love. Minjun appeared in the doorway, watched her with the same intensity from that first night. When she finished, breathless, he said what he'd said 7 years ago. Thank you for dancing. Thank you for watching. They'd built an empire on moral complexity, partnership in grey zones, love in shadows. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. And somewhere in Seoul, another vulnerable person was searching for someone brave enough to help them, someone willing to operate outside traditional boundaries, someone like Zara and Minjun. The work would continue. The risks would remain. The complexity would deepen. But they'd face it together, partners in every way that mattered, seen completely, loved wholly, dancing in the light they'd created from shadows. And that was everything.